Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by Ian Talk. As always, I'm your host Ian, and today I've got another Korean movies to watch on Netflix video. As mentioned in other episodes, one of the most frequent questions I get is where to watch Korean movies with English subtitles. This is a question that's hard to tackle as there are numerous factors involved, most importantly, the location you are in. With the pandemic still ongoing and the state we are in, we can't commonly go to theaters like we once did. Therefore, I've been watching a lot of movies at home, and I personally like to watch Korean movies on Netflix. The Korean Netflix has a lot of great choices, but majority of it won't be available if you're not using the Korean Netflix server. What makes matters worse is the fact that most of the movies available on the Korean Netflix don't have English subtitles. Thus, I've made a list of K-movies on the Korean Netflix server that do have English subtitles that I believe are definitely worth checking out. In order for those of you that aren't in Korea and want to watch K-movies on the Korean Netflix server, you can watch these movies using a VPN service. And I've got a VPN service that I highly recommend, ExpressVPN. A VPN is a tool for protecting your privacy and securing your internet connection, and it not only protects you from possible risks, but allows you to bypass geo restrictions. Put simply, you can be from Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, the US, India, or anywhere else in the world and access the Korean Netflix. I highly recommend using ExpressVPN, one of the most recommended and trusted VPN services out there. And once you sign up for and install ExpressVPN, it's as easy as choosing the country you want to access and connecting. Voila, you are now able to watch content on the Korean Netflix. If you would also like to access a wider range of Korean content, be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link in the descriptions or expressvpn.com/IanTalk and get 49% off an annual plan plus 3 extra months for free. Better yet, if you sign up and you don't like the service, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days. There's been a lot, and I mean a lot of added Korean content on Netflix the past couple months, so I'm sure you'll have a blast binge watching numerous Korean movies and dramas. The movies I'll be recommending in today's video will be in alphabetical order and not by my ratings, but I do have reviews for all of these movies, so be sure to check those out for more details, linked in the descriptions. Now then, let's take a look at 10 must-watch Korean movies with English subtitles available on Netflix. The first movie is the most recently released film, which had an exclusive release on Netflix in November of last year, The Call. Directed by Lee Chung-hyun, who had his feature film directorial debut with this movie, The Call is a thrilling mystery that starred Park Shin-hye and Chun Jong-seo. The movie has elements of time travel and communication between time and takes on a pretty generic topic in a very original way. Chun Jong-seo was absolutely amazing in this movie, and I highly recommend if you haven't seen it yet. Next, the number 2 Korean movie available on Netflix is the 2018 released film, Default. Directed by Choi Guk-hee, who also directed Split, Default is based on real events that economically shook the nation of Korea in the 90s. The film starred the likes of Kim Hae-soo, Yoo Ah-in, Heo Jun-ho, Cho Woo-jin, and Vincent Cassel, and is a very real movie with a compelling story. A definite watch I recommend. Moving on to the third movie of the list is a movie released a couple years ago, Extreme Job. This movie was directed by Lee Byung-hun, who also directed 20, What a Man Wants, and an upcoming film titled Dream, and is a comedy starring Lee Sung-young, Lee Han-hee, Jin Sung-kyu, Lee Dong-hee, and Kong Myung. The cast of Extreme Job and their chemistry was excellent in the film. Although I'm not the biggest fan of the type of comedy this movie had, it won the hearts of many, as it not only is the second highest grossing movie in Korea, but was also voted Movie of the Year in the 2019 Ian Talk Movie Awards. The number 4 movie is a film that was released in 2018, Intimate Strangers. Intimate Strangers was directed by Lee Jae-gyu, who also directed The Influence and The Fatal Encounter, and is a comedic drama that's actually a remake of the Italian film Perfect Strangers. This was one of the funniest movies I've seen that year and had one of the best on-screen chemistry between the cast. Starring Yoo Hae-jin, Cho Jin-wook, Lee Seo-jin, Yeom Jung-ah, Kim Ji-soo, Song Ah-yoon, and Yoon Kyung-ho, I found myself literally laughing out loud throughout the movie. Going into the 5th movie, the number 5 movie is the 2019 film Metamorphosis. Directed by Kim Hong-sun, who also directed The Con Artist, The Chase, and the amazing thriller Traffickers, Metamorphosis is a rare horror film that I actually enjoyed. I'm not a big fan of the horror genre, but for me to recommend shows that it's a good horror film. The movie had the cast members Bae Sung-woo, Song Dong-il, Chang Young-nam, Kim Hae-jun, Cho Wi-yeon, and Kim Kang-hoon, and if you like to watch scary movies, I recommend giving this a go. Moving along, the number 6 movie is the 2018 film Miss Baek. Directed by Lee Ji-won, who I believe was in the director's seat for the first time with this feature, Miss Baek is another very real movie that gets really emotional. The movie starred Han Ji-min, Kim Si-ah, and Lee Hee-jun, who all had amazing performances, and the film overall is very well produced and has a great social message. Next, the number 7 movie is yet another film released in 2018, Ordinary People. Starring Ma Dong-seok and Kim Hee-seon, Ordinary People was directed by In Jin-soon, who has an upcoming film titled Apgujeong Report, which also stars Ma Dong-seok. This movie didn't have an official English title, so when I reviewed this movie when it initially came out, I titled it with its literal translation of The Villagers. But this film had a fairly good balance of humor, thrill, action, and mystery, and is an all-around movie. If you're a fan of the Hulk-like Don Lee, aka Ma Dong-seok, destroying everything in his way, then this is a must-watch. Going into the number 8 spot, the number 8 movie is a movie that released last year, Peninsula. Directed by Yeon Sang-ho, who famously directed Train to Busan, Peninsula takes place 4 years after Train to Busan. Starring Kang Dong-won, Lee Jung-hyun, Lee Rae, Kwon Hae-yo, Kim Min-jae, and Gu Gyo-wan, amongst others, the movie had lots of hype surrounding it as Train to Busan was such a global phenomenon, but I will say the first one was so much better. However, Peninsula had decent action, and since it's available on Netflix, I'd say it's worth watching. I will say though, go into Peninsula thinking of it as a separate movie apart from Train to Busan. The second to last film on the list is the second to the latest film released on this list, Samjin Company English Class. This movie was directed by Lee Jong-pil, who also directed The Sound of a Flower and Born to Sing. Samjin Company English Class is an all-around film that reflects reality and social issues. The movie starred Ko Ah-sung, Lee Som, and Park Hae-soo and had elements of comedy, suspense, and drama. This is definitely a movie I recommend watching, especially if you like that retro feel vibe like Swing Kids. Last but not least, the last movie of the Korean movies to watch on Netflix is the award-winning film The Spy Gone North. The Spy Gone North was directed by Yoon Jong-bin, who also directed Gundo, Age of Rampant, and one of the best Korean crime films, Nameless Gangster, Rules of Time. The cast alone is a reason to watch this movie, as it not only had one of my favorite Korean actors, Hwang Jung-min, but also other amazing actors such as Lee Sung-min, Jo Jin-wook, and Ju Ji-hoon. The film was based on true events that took place in the 90s, and to be honest, the movie is on the slower side, but is such an informative movie and just had amazing acting performances. I'd recommend The Spy Gone North if you're interested in the South-North Korean relations and its past, and enjoy a slow but tense movie. And that concludes today's video on must-watch Korean movies on Netflix. Remember, these movies weren't in the order of my likings, but in alphabetical order. To watch these amazing films, be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using the link provided in the descriptions to get your special price. Also, these movies are available on the Korean Netflix at the time of recording, so mid-March of 2021. The availability of the movies may change as time goes on, so be sure to watch them before they become unavailable. If you'd like another video of Korean movies to watch on Netflix, or on other ways you can utilize VPN to access more Korean content, please let me know by liking and commenting down below. Join the Ian Talk Telegram group and you can discuss further with me and other K-film enthusiasts regarding Korean movies. Lastly, join the Ian Talk Patreon to show me your support in the work I do. Once again, thank you to everyone that watched till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.